And be seated so that we can start the closing ceremony for tonight. So the Power Summit 2019 has explored avenues of cooperation as well as the legal, regulatory and infrastructure requirements to come up with technical solutions for expanding our supply, consumption and optimizing our resources. We are very honored to have with us our chief guest for tonight, Honorable Minister of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Basant Kumar Nembang. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us tonight. We also have with us the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Power, Government of India, Mr. Anirudh Kumar. I believe he's also here with us tonight. And Simon Lucas is the Resilience and Inclusion Team leader from DFID, is also here with us tonight. On the dais should be Mr. Kumar Pandey, the Vice President. Shailendra Ji is also present here. Ashish Garg should also be somewhere around. But anyways, we would love to start with the closing session of the Power Summit 2019. It was definitely very fruitful and very powerful. A two-day event, one of the best I've seen in a long time, where the participants were very involved, very interactive, and they were literally taking in everything that the panel and the speakers were saying in. So thank you so much to the audience as well for being such a great sport. Let me quickly begin with the remarks from Simon Lucas, the Resilience and Inclusion Team leader, DFID.
Honourable Minister, distinguished guests, as you may have noticed, I'm not Lisa Honan, the head of DFID, and unfortunately that means that our gender balance on the panel has gone even more badly wrong. So first of all, I apologise for that. I can only compensate by saying that by training I'm a hydropower engineer, and my pastimes are spent mostly on the rivers of Nepal, kayaking down them. So I'm very, very aware of the twin issues that Nepal faces in developing its hydropower and other energy resources, but still maintaining the sustainability that is required. And I know you've had a packed 2 days around investment, regional cooperation, the challenges of the new federal government system in Nepal, sustainability technology. So I'm not hoping to cover what you've already covered. But I just wanted to say why DFID is partly sponsoring this event and why we remain in the energy sector. Because it's easy if you work in the sector to know how important energy is. But I think the most important statistic that I'm aware of is that in developed countries, the energy supplied is equivalent to having 20 people working for you. And that's a really telling statistic, because if you want to develop your country and you want to increase productivity, you will need that energy. And as development partners, it's really important for us to work with Nepal and regional partners to make that energy available for industry and for the people of Nepal. And that's why I'm so pleased to come back to Nepal after a gap of 6 or 7 years and see how much progress there has been in the sector. It may not feel like it if you've been here. But when I left Nepal, nobody thought a large hydropower scheme was going to be developed, and now you've got several. Nobody thought that the power sector reform programme could really take off and financial viability would be achieved in NEA. It has been. Nobody thought that an electricity regulator could be established, and it has. And you should all be congratulated for all of those improvements, because they're all part of the 5 I's that I normally talk about when I'm talking about the energy sector. The 5 I's of institutions, innovations, investments, and most importantly, individuals. As I've mentioned, Nepal has made great leaps forward on its institutional status. The new constitution sets out quite clearly most of the roles, but there's still a lot of roles that need to be defined around whose job it is to develop which areas of the electricity sector. And that's really important to resolve. So I'm really glad to see that the government is taking this issue very seriously, because it's a network service and the network doesn't work unless the different bits work together. I'm also great to see that the energy regulator is in place, because fair, transparent tariff setting is fundamental to the returns for developers, for the consumers and for the politicians. And that's a really important triangle that the regulator has got to work through. So I wish them all the luck in the world because it is the hardest job in the energy sector. If you think what you do is hard, you sit in the middle of those three constituencies and try and get an agreement. But it's great that Nepal is going down that road. I think you will also be aware of all of the innovations going on in the energy sector. Hydropower is quite a traditional sector, but the other sectors are changing quickly, and that's also changing where to sell hydropower. Previously, it was always base loads, but increasingly the power markets are paying for capacity that can be turned on quickly. So when you're thinking of new markets for hydropower, it's not just about base load, it's also about balancing big Indian PV that goes out at night. When are you going to sell your hydropower? Maybe it should be at night, not during the day. Lots of technical innovations have made that possible, but it's also brought down the commissioning costs of smaller schemes as well. So the economics have changed along with the technology. But we need to keep on innovating because the challenges rise. The riskiness of different schemes increases. We've got unknowns such as climate change that we need to factor in, and the regional grid, again, introduces uncertainty if you're selling into it. Another I, of course, is investments. The most telling thing I've ever heard about energy investment is how to make them boring. If you're a developer and you want money from a bank and you can make your energy investment boring because the returns are so guaranteed, you will get a loan straight away. And boring means it won't have a community demonstrating against it. It will have a guaranteed return, that you've looked at all of the feasibility studies and the different risks, and you've got mitigations for them. So, as far as the public sector is concerned, they can make those investments more boring by ensuring that there's a really solid policy background around tariffs, around regulation, around investment deals that gives those investors the right signals. Because incentives are key, and that's the fourth I in my list. Incentives should be there, and we are a big financier of, the UK is a big financier of the climate funds, and we want to see some of those being used in the pool to support climate finance, use climate finance for renewable energy and hydropower investments. And we want those incentives to work properly. We don't want them to be a substitute for private sector investment. We want them to pay for the marginal costs of doing different schemes better. And that's a key area that we want to work with the government and with developers on, is how do we ensure the environmental and social safeguards that were presented in the last session can be applied. This isn't a world in which we live that those are additional costs that should be avoided. They're costs that have to be built in. Finally, individuals. So it was really good to hear in the last session about individuals and the way they benefit from schemes. Often schemes are so large that it's assumed that there's a macroeconomic impact. Of course that is true, but that macroeconomic impact is made up of individuals. So, and it's not just about local individuals, it's also about the resource flows that flow from big schemes and how the government at large uses them. But individuals are also important in ensuring that reforms continue. It's important that individual developers are as consistent and ethically based as possible, and that the sector has the right skills. And I know there's a lot of you in the room already with the right skills, but we need to think about how we can strengthen those skills in the future. So that was all I wanted to say. I just wanted to thank you for providing me with this opportunity. As I say, energy is deeply set within me, and occasionally I get to talk about it. So that's why I'm so enthusiastic at a time when I know all you want to do is go home. But the final thing I wanted to say, and maybe it's another I, is around integration. I know a lot of the discussion today has been how to integrate with a South Asian grid. How do you integrate communities into your work? How do you integrate sustainable environmental concerns into your work? And particularly, how do you integrate women into your work as well? So there's a variety of things, and maybe that's the sixth I need to add to my speech next time, to make sure that there are no more manals, as they're termed in DFID, because when I go back to the office, I now have to pay a fine, because I'm a man on an all-male panel. So thank you for listening to me. I know what you want to do is go and chat to your friends, so I'll stop there, but thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon. So in the last 2 days, the Power Summit 2019 became a platform that provided momentum to move the energy sector in Nepal forward to attain its full potential. The summit also helped galvanize efforts and generate the needed synergy to fuel the growth in Asia through Nepal's indigenous hydro resources. It also became a venue to understand the existing policies and opportunities, network and do business at the same time. I'm sure you have been watching at the screen what the effect has been in the Power Summit 2019 as well with the numbers that we've provided. And now for his remarks, I'd like to invite the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Power, Government of India, Mr. Anirudh Kumar.
Honorable Minister for Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Mr. Basant Nimanj. The President of IPAN, Mr. Shailendra Gurgaon. The Vice President of IPAN, Mr. Kumar Pandey. The General Secretary of IPAN, Mr. Ashish Garg. And Deputy Head of DFID Nepal, Mr. Simon Lucas. First of all, let me congratulate the Honorable Minister on assuming the office of Minister for Physical Infrastructure and Transport. My hearty congratulations to you, sir, and I wish you all the success in your new assignment and new role. And I hope that you will take Nepal to the new heights, sir. Next, let me congratulate the organizers of this conference, this summit. It has been truly a world-class summit, and I am going back to my country with lots of new ideas and lots of new knowledge. I never expected that it would turn out to be so good, but it has been indeed a wonderful experience, be it logistics, be it the content of the structuring of the conference, be it the quality of speakers. Everything has been truly outstanding. It's indeed an honor and privilege for me to be here representing my country, India, on this platform to deliberate the future of cooperation in power sector in BBIN countries. Friendly relations amongst BBIN countries are based upon very natural factors, such as geographical proximity, shared borders. We have a shared history and culture. We have enjoyed the unhindered access from one country to another country. Our people-to-people contact has been fantastic. We have enjoyed very strong and vibrant trade connections for centuries or maybe thousands of years. And at the top of it, there is a deep sense of commitment in the political leadership in all the 4 countries to strengthen this cooperation further. Sir, this region is home to 20% of global population, and this has emerged as one of the fastest growing regions in the world. It has been enjoying a very high economic growth rate of 78% as compared to global economic growth rate of 2 to 3%. And now it has emerged as a major economic bloc in the world. So this economic growth would require commensurate growth in the demand of electricity. At present, the per capita consumption of electricity in this region is approximately 1,100 units per person per year, as against the global average of 3,000 units. So there is a huge gap. And this demand in developed countries is of the order of 10,000 to 12,000 units. The present electricity consumption of this region is approximately 1,400 billion units, which is likely to double by 2030. That is, we hope to reach by 2030 to energy consumption level of 2,800 billion units. Therefore, we need to add more generation capacities and generate more power, but in an environmentally sustainable manner. The development of hydropower and cross-border connections amongst BBIN countries undoubtedly can play a very important role in reducing global carbon emissions without compromising the growing energy requirements of people and ensuring delivery of sustainable development to our people. However, I'll take a minute before I get into the specifics of this subject of cross-border trade. I will take a minute to mention the rapid strides my country, India, has made, sir. Sir, in last 15 years, big transformation has taken place in my country, India. We have moved from the scenario of power shortages to power surplus, sir. Today, we have connected each and every household in India to the electricity, and now we are an energy surplus country. We electrified all our villages last year. Now there is not even a single village left unelectrified. uh, the total length of transmission line in our country has reached a staggering 415,000 circuit kilometer, and out of which 125,000 circuit kilometer was constructed only in the last 5 years. That's a great achievement, and it's truly uncomparable anywhere in the world. Now, let me come back to my main subject, sir. What role can be played by cross-border trade in development of this region, BBI region in particular? So we all are aware of consequences of global warming. We are already witnessing some of its adverse consequences, such as shrinking glaciers, such as increase in the level of ocean, and vanishing coral reefs. Increased number of extreme events of weather has increased. 4 years ago in Paris, the global community took a pledge to limit the global temperature rise to below 2 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, it would have disastrous consequences for humanity in times to come. So we, despite of having one of the lowest carbon emission per capita in the world, which is only 2 ton per person per capita as compared to 17 ton per person per year in US, we took a pledge that we will reduce the carbon intensity of our GDP by 33% by the year 2030. We will increase the share of non-fossil fuel energy sources in our power generation mix by 2030 to a level of 40%. And we will create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent by 2030. And I am happy to inform the audience and you, sir, that we are very well on way to achieve these targets. Not only we will achieve these targets, but we will exceed these targets with a very wide margin, sir. The first cornerstone of our strategy to achieve these targets is that we have made significant efforts to to improve our energy efficiency. In last 4 years, we have installed 1.2 billion energy efficient LED lights, and we have installed 3.2 million street lights, which are LED lamps, and that has drastically reduced our consumption of electricity and saved a lot of carbon emission. So our share of non-fossil fuel sources in the energy mix has already reached 35% as against the target of 45% by 2030. And we hope that by 2030, we will achieve 70% share of non-fossil fuel sources in our energy mix. Sir, by 2030, we propose to have 550 gigawatt of renewable energy sources, out of which 300 is estimated to be from solar and 140 gigawatt is estimated to be from wind power sources. But sir, India's ambitious plans to increase the share of solar and wind power in power basket, which are intermittent sources of power, also throw up a serious challenge to maintain the grid stability. In India, the difference between peak power and off-peak power is likely to increase to 100 gigawatt by 2026. But there is no problem which doesn't have a solution. And this problem of India is an opportunity for Nepal and Bhutan. This difference between the peak and off-peak power of 100 gigawatt can be bridged by the hydropower supplied by the Nepal and Bhutan. So this is an opportunity, this is a win-win situation for India and Bhutan. We are a solar-rich country, we can install solar, and you are a hydro-rich country. Bhutan is a hydro-rich country, they can install hydro and then balance each other. So as we all are aware, hydropower has unique advantage of quick ramping, instantaneous start at a stop, black start, reactive power absorption, which makes it ideal to cater not only to peaking power, but also to grid balancing and stability. It has ability to follow the demand. In fact, the hydropower offers twin benefits, sir. It is not only a source of carbon-free power, but also enables integration of more renewable energy in the grid by supplying much-needed balancing power. In fact, some studies indicates that 1 unit of hydropower doesn't displace 1 unit of fossil fuel-based power, but it actually replaces 1.5 to 2 units of fossil fuel energy because it helps in integrating more and more renewables. So, BBI countries have vast hydropower potential of 225,000 megawatt. out of which only less than 20% has been exploited so far. This is a matter of concern for us, and here lies the opportunity for us. It is not a very happy situation. Therefore, we are committed to increase the share of non-fossil fuel energy sources in our mix. Government is aware of the role that can be played by hydropower for grid balancing and its stability. Therefore, in the month of March 2019, we announced several measures to promote the development of hydropower in India as well as in the entire South Asian region. I'll take just a minute to inform you, sir. We have now declared hydropower projects irrespective of the size of the plant. Earlier, only the smaller plants of less than 25 megawatt capacity were known as renewable. Now, all the hydropower will enjoy the status of renewable generation, sir. We have also made it mandatory for our discoms to have a certain share of hydropower in their energy basket. So the problem of PPAs, which was being faced by the hydro plant power generators, they will no longer face this problem because it will be obligation, legal obligation of the discoms to buy hydropower. That will take care of one of the biggest problem of hydro, that how to sign the PPAs. Then government will provide grant for construction of roads and bridges required to promote transport connectivity to the sites of the project. Hydro projects are usually located in remote hilly areas, as in the case of Nepal as well as Bhutan. And that's why a lot of money is required to be spent upon creating the infrastructure to access the sites. That we have decided that Government of India will give it as a grant to the projects, and it will not be loaded on the cost of the project and ultimately on the tariff of the project. Similarly, Government of India has decided to give grant to the projects which have flood moderation benefit. So whatever cost is associated with the flood moderation benefit, that will be borne by the Government of India and will not be loaded on the project cost. That will help us in reducing the tariff of the hydropower projects. So then one of the other problem which is being faced by the developers is, normally we get a loan for the tenure of 12 years. Because of the high obligation to repay the debt in 12 years, the tariff of the hydro projects is very high. So now we have given complete flexibility to the developers to fix the tariff in such a manner that it is convenient to the discoms, it is convenient to the bankers, and it is convenient to the developers also, while ensuring a return of 16% on the equity to the developer. And that is a win-win situation for all. We have talked to the bankers in India also. They are willing to extend loan for a longer tenure, say 20 years for hydropower projects. So then, in order to promote the cross-border trade in BBIN countries, in December 2018, we liberalized our cross-border trade guidelines, and now we have allowed access to the power generators situated in the other countries to access our exchange. So I hope these steps will go a long way in promoting the cross-border trade of electricity. As I said yesterday, our grid can accommodate more hydropower, which we will definitely require in future to balance our solar power. Thus, there is a demand and there is a source. So where is the problem? We only need to take horse to the well. And that is why cross-border trade is so important. There is a huge synergy and complementarity between BBIN countries, such as India is blessed with a lot of sun and vast land tracts. India also has huge coal reserves. On the other hand, Nepal and Bhutan has vast hydro potential, and Bangladesh has vast gas reserves. India has vast experience of entire value chain of hydropower, that is, survey and investigation, preparation of detailed project reports, construction, and O&M. And not only that, all our hydropower companies which are in public sector, like National Hydropower Corporation, SJVN, which is already working in Nepal, and NEEPCO, THDC, all of them have very robust financials. They are all AAA rated company, and they have ability to raise money from the banks and other financial institutions at a very competitive rate, which is a major element of cost in hydropower projects. And they do not require, need not wait for the PPAs to achieve the financial closure, which is very often encountered by the private sector in this sector. Then, sir, most important thing is that a study was done by USAID last year. There is a huge technical complementarity also. Like in India and Bangladesh, the demand peaks between the month of June and September. while that in Nepal and Bhutan peaks in the month of November, December, and January. Being winter month, a lot of energy is required for warming the homes. Similarly, if we take the example of during the day, the demand in India and Bangladesh peaks after 8 p.m. But in Nepal and Bhutan, the peak demand is there in 6 to 8 p.m. So if we treat the region as a whole, this problem of grid balancing will be automatically taken care of substantially. So there is such a natural synergy between India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan to behave as one grid and harness the synergy of this cross-border trade. Sir, several studies have been done to quantify these benefits. One study was done by USAID under SARI program, and if we liberalize the cross-border trade and there is no border on the trade of electricity, it is estimated that it can result into direct savings of 220 billion US dollar in next 25 years, which is a staggering amount. The carbon emission in BBIN countries can be reduced by as much as 8% if we allow the cross-border trade. And the requirement of coal-based generation in this region will go down by 54,000 megawatt. These numbers are impressive numbers. There is a compelling case to allow and liberalize the cross-border trade between BBIN countries. And this is not an academic exercise, sir. We have the example of Europe, where Norway exports hydropower to balance the renewable generation in Germany. Norway is balancing 130 gigawatt of renewable energy sources in Europe. And it is estimated that Europe is saving approximately 7.5 billion euros every year by allowing this cross-border trade between Norway and other European countries by providing balancing hydropower to the intermittent wind power. The government of my country is committed to promote development of hydropower in BBI's countries. We have agreed with Bhutan to jointly develop 10,000 megawatt of hydropower in Bhutan, out of which we have already commissioned 2,000 megawatt. 4 plants are already under operation. 2 more plants, Pune 1 and Pune 2, are under construction, that is 2,200 megawatt. And we are in dialogue with each other to jointly develop 2 more projects, that is Kolangchu, which is 600 megawatt project, and Sankosh, which is a very huge project, 2,550 megawatt. And we hope to soon commence the construction on these 2 projects as well. As you know, sir, in Nepal, we are already working. The SJVN of India is executing Arun 3, which is of 900 megawatt. We have already established cross-border transmission links with our neighbor countries. We have capacity to transmit 1,000 megawatt to Nepal. We have capacity to transmit 4,000 megawatt import and export from Bhutan. And we have approximately 600 megawatt capacity transmission link with Bangladesh also. At the moment, 3,800 megawatt of power is already being traded, and we hope to soon increase it to 6,500 megawatt in next 2 years. Sir, we are certainly committed to fulfill our global responsibility to reduce carbon emissions and limit the temperature rise to less than 2 degrees centigrade. Cross-border trade of electricity is going to play a very important and crucial role in achieving this objective and provide 24/7 affordable and sustainable power to the people of this region. And sir, we have large number of CPSUs which are capable of developing projects in Nepal. Nobody knows the hydro sector better than you. You yourself told me just before this concluding session that you have executed 3 or 4 hydro projects yourself. So our hydropower companies have expertise and experience of developing projects right from survey investigation to design engineering, construction and operation and maintenance. As I told you earlier, the financials are also very, very strong, and it will not be a problem for them to raise the finance from the market. And these companies will be very happy to develop the projects in Bhutan. And I'll personally take interest that the cooperation between India and Nepal grows leaps and bounds with a time to come, sir. But here I would like to share my Indian experience also, sir. In any development effort, it needs to be sustainable, sir. It is important that in the process, every stakeholder's interests are taken care of. We have done our experiment. We have done some experiment of allotting hydropower projects by bidding. And the experience has not been great, sir. In Arunachal Pradesh, we allotted 50,000 megawatt project by process of bidding, but we have not been very successful. So my humble request to you, sir, is that the process of allotment of hydro projects to the developers should be sustainable and it should leave adequate return for them on the table. Otherwise, we may face problem in the future. Sir, at the end, sir, I thank the audience for giving me a patient hearing. As I told you in the beginning, this has been an outstanding conference. I am going with lots of new ideas, and I am definitely committed to increase the cooperation between India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh towards a common objective of prosperity in the region. And I once again thank the organizers for extending excellent hospitality to me and all the delegates, and allow me to speak before such distinguished people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anirudh Kumar, for sharing your insights and, of course, giving us feedbacks and suggestions at the same time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a MOU signing between International Finance Corporation and Independent Power Producers Association, a Powered by Women initiative. IPAN believes in advocates for an inclusive power sector development by closing gender gaps and increased participation of women. Being a traditionally male-dominated sector from the boardroom, workplace, to construction site, a serious urgency has been felt for gender inclusion. IPAN has formed a Powered by Women forum with ambitious, energetic, and well-accomplished women entrepreneurs in Nepal's hydropower sector. So IFC intends to join hands with IPAN and cooperate in the Powered by Women initiative aimed at closing gender gap within the private hydropower sector. Let's give them a big round of applause for bringing out this initiation called Powered by Women. So, may I request the Deputy Country Representative of IFC Nepal Office, Mr. Santosh Pandey, and President of IPAN, Mr. Shalindra Guragai, to do the honors of signing the MOU for Powered by Women initiative. We'd also like to invite on stage Kate from IFC. The Women Forum members of IPAN, also on stage, please. The agreement is for women, so we should also have women up there on the stage, I believe. There you go. IPAN and IFC have joined hands for Powered by Women initiative aimed at closing gender gap within the private hydropower sector. Let's have a quick photo. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you so much, ladies. We also have another agreement signing between Bangladesh and IPAN for knowledge partnership on studying regional market for Nepal's hydropower. May I request Mr. Shariful Islam, partner Power Utilities Deloitte Bangladesh, Samrat Roy Deloitte India, and Ashish Garg, the General Secretary of IPAN, for the signing of the agreement. Deloitte India, Deloitte Bangladesh and Nepal will be working together on studying regional markets for Nepal's hydropower. Congratulations to Deloitte India, Deloitte Bangladesh and EPAN. Now, moving forward, I'd like to request for a quick recap about Power Summit 2019, which is being done by the General Secretary of EPAN, Mr. Ashish Garg.
Honorable Minister, the team lead from DFID Nepal, Shri Anirudh Kumarji, and my fellow colleagues from EPAN, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful 2 days. It was really amazing. I would say it is a dream come true for the organizers. We started 8 months back thinking that everything is last moment, but this is what we achieved. 764 registrations. We had a very online tech-savvy system, so 764. We targeted 700 to 750. We ended up at 764, and this hall, which is the largest hall in Kathmandu, was full during inaugural. Not too many empty seats even today at the closing. And we had 21 countries. We had a representative from Portugal also, and we had Sri Lanka as well. There were 21 countries. We had 79 speakers, 9 sessions. So the topics were so diverse and important that we had to run parallel session on day 2. And we had 6 business alliances, the key one being the NHPC HIDCL agreement, and the Indian Energy Exchange and Nepal Power Exchange, the IFC cooperation, the joint statement on environment and social standards. And yes, we had 87 B2B meetings. So, the idea of summit was to generate business, and I think we had a good business from India and from Bangladesh as well. We are expecting a MOU very soon with Bangladesh private sector and Nepalese private sector. And also the highlight was we had one-to-one meetings by Honorable Minister of Energy, the IBN CEO and MD of NEA. So all the foreign delegates had an opportunity to a one-to-one meeting. So it was really, really amazing. Some more interesting facts. The most spoken word or repeated word during the summit. Any guesses other than hydropower, which was the most repeated word during the summit? 79 times, including in this closing session once. Could you recall that? 83,000 megawatt. And this is what we all have to get rid of, We are sitting on 83,000 megawatt, but where is the generation of 83,000? We are on 1,280 megawatt. So this is another, barometer of where the summit was heading. So this is what we achieved, and it was really amazing, and in fact beyond expectations. Now quickly, I'll just recap what was discussed and where was consensus reached. Yes, so here we go. The theme and the focus was regional markets. There was a strong feeling, where will Nepal sell its energy? So Nepal is experiencing a paradigm shift from 1280 megawatt at the moment. In 5 years, we may end up 5,000 or 6,000 or even 7,000 megawatt. So we are moving from an energy deficit nation to a surplus nation. So this point is well established, and I think there is no difference of opinion on this. There is a confusion on, but there needs to be a clarity on availability of regional market, right? So it could not be properly established that to what quantum and how our regional market would be. And there is a confusion on Nepal's demand. I mean, we as private sector strongly still feel Nepal's demand is not increasing much. We are still at 220 per capita kilowatt hour. However, there were discourse that, if we replace our cooking, we need 5,000 megawatt in next 10 years. And there was a theory that when generation is there, demand will increase on its own. So first we have to construct our hydropower plants and wait for the buyer. So we as private sector feel a bit that is risky. So there's a bit confusion on the demand. So that confusion remains. The Indian delegation, we had the highest number of delegates from India. That continues to be Nepal's core market and the most important market. So the Indian delegation stated very clearly, including the closing remarks from the Anirudhji from the Power Ministry, that Indian market is available for Nepal's electricity. So I think we have to go beyond the confusions, and quantum is not an issue. So 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, no big deal for India. So that has come quite clear, and His Excellency the Ambassador of India also was very, very clear on this. So India is a clear market. Let's clear our doubts on that. And for Bangladesh, Nepal's clean power is a natural choice. So it's very natural to replace diesel and fossil fuels. And so what we could conclude, Nepal and Bhutan's hydropower serve as a battery bank for the region. So we are the real battery. So I think these are the key, takeaways on our theme. On financing, hedging mechanism is the biggest confusion, and unfortunately, we still could not get the clarity from Finance Minister or the other experts. We continue to be very, very, conservative on hedging. So this will be still continue to be a deterrent unless government changes its policy. And quality of local funding, we have discussed, and I think there was a consensus that Nepal needs fixed interest rates for hydropower. And how that will unfold, we have to see. The Finance Minister has committed something on that, and we need some structure financing also, and availing cheap capital, and yes, sound environmental and social practices to a sustainability. If we have to get international funds, it is a no option scenario. It was very, very clearly established. We have to follow sound environment and social practices. There is no excuse. And yes, Nepal doing business environment, the ease of doing business is a challenge. I would like to quote a Chinese investor saying that the delay in the various approval works, she felt like crying, So, I mean, though that is a personal opinion, but yes, we have to dramatically improve in the way we do our work. The speed has to increase if we have to be competitive. On regulation, we had a very amazing roundtable of the regulators, and creation of regulatory forum is essential to build trust among each other, and there is a need for harmonizing the regulation and technical standards. And our new regulator, a lot of expectations from them. And on transmission lines, it may not be that big a constraint if we have projects are built. Transmission lines are a small portion of the project cost. So if projects are built, transmission lines can be built in optimum manner, but it has to be on commercial basis. So the Butwal-Gorakhpur line was concluded on a commercial basis, and I think that's what the very clear from the Indian delegation. And regionally integrated planning for evacuating power, of course, that is essential. So with all this, what are the challenges? Political will. The voting pads, the audience poll, most number of hits were on the political option. So I think in Nepal still there is a apprehension that how soon we can have a political will for all the governments. And very important, the Indian market is open, but what will be the price? It will be 4 Indian rupees, 3.5 Indian rupees, 5 rupees. It will be 15 minutes buyer or 30 years. We as Nepal seller of hydropower, we are used to only 30 years. So there is a bit of big debate to happen whether Indian market is for what tenor. And we have to harmonize the regulations. There are quite a few complexities in that. And risk sharing among various partners. I mean, who will share what risk? The DISCOM, the off-taker, the producer, the governments of various countries. I mean, these 4 countries, whether you call Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. And yes, most important, as private sector, we feel that there is a strong need for joint venture. The moment Indian or Bangladeshi money comes in a Nepalese joint venture, it will automatically open the sensor doors. So NHPC is a big breakthrough, we feel, at the summit, and we are expecting in maybe not more than 1 month a deal from Bangladesh. So if that Taka and Indian rupee has to enter Nepalese joint ventures. So I think that was all. We could have taken along to sum up, but these are the very quick takeaways, and we are supported by Deloitte as a knowledge partner to sum up the summit, and we'll be coming up with the proceedings of the summit with a very detailed note in a month's time after we summarize everything, and it will be circulated to all the delegates. And thank you so much for being a part of such a wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashish Garg, for summing up Power Summit 2019 and for the quick recap there. Now, we'd also like to appreciate and thank our sponsors and our supporters for making Power Summit 2019 what it is, and of course for being there with us. I would like to request our chief guest, Honorable Minister of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Basanta Kumar Nembang, to present the mementos to our sponsors. So I'll be announcing the organization's name, the representatives. I would like to request the representatives please to come forward. First up, on the lead sponsor, we have International Finance Corporation. From IFC. Next, from FMO. Supported by Nepal Electricity Authority. Do we have anyone from NEA? Anyone from NEA, Nepal Electricity Authority? Also from USAID, NHDP and SARI, our supporters. Our sponsors, Platinum sponsor, Asian Development Bank. Do we have anyone from ADB? ADB? No? Okay. Nepal Power Exchange Limited, our Platinum sponsor. NAPEX, Nepal Power Exchange Limited. Our gold sponsor, World Bank Group, World Bank. Do you have anyone from World Bank? Okay. NMB Bank. NMB Bank. So are you coming up on the stage? Next, Chongqing Huangbian Electric Group, our gold sponsor. NHPC India Limited, our gold sponsor. Our silver sponsors, Hydroelectricity Investment and Development Company, our silver sponsor, Hydroelectricity Investment and Development Company. Next, Himal Power Limited. GMR Group. SJVN Arun 3 Power Development Company Private Limited, silver sponsor. DFID, UK8. Voith, our silver sponsor from Voith. Do we have anyone from Voith? Okay. Macam Meaty HPP India Private Limited, silver sponsor. Moving on to our partners, Nepal Water and Energy Development Company Private Limited. Ekikrit Vyapar Company Private Limited. Ekikrit Vyapar Company Private Limited. PTC India Limited. Global IME Bank Limited. Anyone from Global IME? No? Okay, moving on to Nubble Bank Limited. Nubble Bank. No, moving on to ICTC Energy Private Limited. Any representative from ICTC Energy Private Limited? Moving on to Jade Consult Private Limited. Jade Consult Private Limited. Next, our partner Cosmic Electrical Engineering Associates Private Limited. Butwal Power Company Limited, Tractable Engineering, CCK China, Hotekoshi Power Company Private Limited, do we have anyone from Hotekoshi? No. Stantec, Sunrise Bank Limited, Stantec, Biforus Limited, Sanima Hydro, anyone from Sanima Hydro? Krishna GmbH and Company, KG, partner. I don't know if I pronounced that right, it's FICHTNER. No. Himalayan General Insurance Company Limited, Policy Entrepreneurs Incorporated, I believe they're not here, Urja Developers Private Limited, Urja Developers Private Limited. Now moving on to Toshiba, and Chilime Jalavidyut Company Limited. No. Okay. We'd also like to acknowledge the also organized by the Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation. So we'd also like to acknowledge them. Do we have anybody from the Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation? No. In association with Embassy of India, anybody from Embassy of India? People's Republic of Bangladesh, and our knowledge partner Deloitte. I just have about 9 names to announce. We apologize for the long list of names that we have, but without them, this Paris Summit 2019 would not have been possible for sure. To also our associates, FNCCI, CNI, Confederation of Nepalese Industries, CNI, Ashish, Nepal Engineers Association, our associates, YCNC, Youth Community for Nepalese Contractors, YCNC? Anyone from YCNC? Nepal Tunneling Association? Nepal Tunneling Association? Nepal Hydropower Association? Nepal Hydropower Association? Okay, we do have someone. Office of the Investment Board, Nepal. Office of the Investment Board, Nepal. Nepal Bankers Association. Anyone from Nepal Bankers Association? Our event partner, Fantastic Nepal Holidays Private Limited. Do we have any representative from Fantastic Nepal Holidays? Let's have Neha here. Thank you guys to Fantastic Nepal Holidays who have done an amazing job with the event management here today. Thank you so much. And we are finally done. Thank you everyone. Now in this regard, I would like to request the chief guest, our Honorable Minister, to talk about the event and the way forward with Power Summit 2019. What can we do with Nepal as well?
पावर समिट 2019 को यस क्लोजिङ सेसनका सभापति एवं इपानका अध्यक्षज्यू, विदेशबाट पाल्नुभएका सहभागी हुनुभएका मित्रहरू, नेपाल भित्रकै हाइड्रो पावर एनर्जीसँग आबद्ध सरकारी तथा गैर सरकारी क्षेत्रबाट सहभागी भइरहनुभएका तपाईं मित्रहरू सबैलाई गुड इभिनिङ। 2 दिनसम्मको यो पावर समिट को आयोजना गरेर इपानले यो क्षेत्रको विकासको निम्ति धेरै राम्रो काम गरेको छ। यो कार्यक्रम आयोजना गरेर सम्पन्न गर्नको निम्ति भर्खरै पनि हामीले धेरैलाई एप्रिसिएसन, टोकन अफ लभ, धेरै कुराहरू सम्मान भर्खर वितरण गर्यौं। देश विदेशका धेरै सङ्घ संस्थाहरूले स्पोन्सर गरेर सहयोग पुर्याएको छ। म इपान सँगसँगै सबै सहयोगी मित्रहरूलाई यो कार्यक्रममा सहयोग गरेर सम्पन्न गर्न मद्दत गरेकोमा मेरो तर्फबाट पनि सरकारको तर्फबाट पनि धन्यवाद भन्न चाहन्छु। किनभने यो पावर समिटले धेरै कुराहरू उजागर गरेको छ। यो समिट 2 दिन चलिराख्दा नेपाल सरकारको तर्फबाट सम्बन्धित मन्त्रीज्यू, ऊर्जाका मन्त्रीज्यू, आर्थिक मन्त्रीज्यूले पनि सहभागिता जनाइसक्नु भएको छ। नेपाल सरकारको आधिकारिक धारणा र भावी दिनमा यसका नीतिका बारेमा पनि जानकारी गराइसक्नु भएको छ। मैले सौभाग्यले यो क्षेत्रमा केही वर्षहरूदेखि काम गर्ने मौका पाएको हिसाबले, हाइड्रो पावर सेक्टरका धेरै साथीहरूसँग चिनजान भएको हिसाबले अहिले यो क्लोजिङ सेसनमा निम्ता गर्नुभयो। यहाँहरूलाई मात्रै शुभकामना, मात्रै बधाई, यसको उपलब्धिको बारेमा भन्ने मौका पाएँ। म अध्यक्ष लगायत सबै साथीहरूलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। मैले यहाँ धेरै कुरा गरिरहनु पर्दैन। हाम्रा सम्बन्धित मन्त्रीज्यूहरूले आफ्ना कुरा राखिसके पछाडि मैले धेरै चर्चा गर्नुभन्दा पनि एक दुईवटा कुराहरू आफ्ना धारणा राख्न चाहन्छु। म यो सेक्टरको पनि मान्छे भएको हुनाले, एउटा अभियन्ता भएको हुनाले स्वाभाविकले पछिल्ला दिनहरूमा नेपालको हाइड्रो पावर सेक्टर धेरै व्यवस्थित भइराखेको छ। एक दशकलाई हामीले फर्केर हेऱ्यौँ भने लोड सेडिङदेखि लिएर अहिले अन्त्यको अवस्था र पावर स्पिल हुने अवस्था छ। नीतिगत कुराहरू हेऱ्यौँ भने विद्युत ऐनको निर्माणदेखि लिएर विद्युत नियमावलीको निर्माणदेखि लिएर प्राइभेट सेक्टरको ओपन गर्न लगानीका कुराहरूदेखि लिएर अहिले भर्खरै रेगुलेटरी बडी विद्युत नियमन आयोग समेत बनिसकेको अवस्था छ। ट्रान्समिसनका कुराहरू गऱ्यौँ भने विद्युत ओसार पसारका कुराहरू गऱ्यौँ भने हाम्रा उत्तरी ठुलो छिमेकी मुलुक चीनदेखि लिएर पहिला नै मलाई लाग्छ जोइन्ट टेक्निकल टिम थियो नेपाल र भारतको, त्यसले 12,000 भन्दा बढी, अर्को जर्मनको एउटा एसिस्टेन्ट थियो, त्यसले स्टडी गरेर रिपोर्टै तयार भएको 19 मेगावाट भन्दा बढी हाम्रा 6 ठाउँबाट भारत बङ्गलादेश क्रस बोर्डर ट्रान्समिसन लाइनको स्टडी समेत भइराखेको अवस्था छ। यसले के देखाउँछ भन्दाखेरि नेपालमा रहेको जलको स्रोतलाई उत्पादनमा हामीले तीव्रतर गतिले, बृहत्तर गतिले अब अगाडि बढाउन सक्ने बेला आयो। हामीले घोषणा गर्यौं हाम्रा पर क्यापिटा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कन्जम्सनको कुराहरूलाई 100-200 हुँदै 1000 किलोवाटको पर इयर टार्गेट गर्यौं। हामीसँग वेल प्लान भइसक्यो। हामीले उत्पादन गर्दै विद्युत भनेको नेपालका साना साना विद्युत विदेशी लगानीलाई ओपन गरिसके पछाडि अहिले बढ्दैछ। नेक्स्ट इयरदेखि 3-4 हजार मेगावाट उत्पादनको घोषणा भइसक्यो। निजी क्षेत्रका साथीहरू लाग्नु भएको छ। हामीलाई अहिले यति हुँदा विदेशी लगानी पनि पर्याप्त छैन र आइरहेको पनि छैन। तरै पनि हाम्रा प्रयत्नबाट 10,000 मेगावाट मात्रै होइन, हामी 17, 18, 20, 20,000 मेगावाटको लाइसेन्स इस्यु गरेर, प्रोजेक्ट पहिचान गरेर, सबै EIA रिपोर्ट कम्प्लिट गरेर कम्तीमा पनि कन्स्ट्रक्सनको फेजमा रेडी भएर बसेका छौँ। हामीले उत्पादन गरेको बिजुली 10 वर्षमा हाम्रो कन्जम्सन बढाएर आफै पनि प्रयोग गर्ने अवस्थामा छौँ। यति हुँदाहुँदै अहिले विगतमा हामीले गर्न सकेनौँ। यो हुनुको पछाडि के हो त भन्दाखेरि स्थायी सरकार छ। म विदेशी साथीहरूलाई, विदेशी लगानीकर्ता मित्रहरूलाई, चाहे त्यो हाम्रा छिमेकी ठुला देशहरू चीन, भारत हुँदै बङ्गलादेश हुँदै पश्चिमा मुलुकहरू सबैलाई पनि म भन्न चाहन्छु, हाम्रा प्राविधिक संरचना स्रोतहरू यस्ता छन् र हामीले इनर्जी स्पिललाई व्यवस्थित गर्नको निम्ति ट्रान्समिसन ठुल्ठुला योजनाहरू बनाइसकेका छौँ। दुई देश बीच MOU समझदारीमा हस्ताक्षर गरेका छौँ। ट्राइपार्टी एउटा कमिटी बनाएर छिटोभन्दा छिटो अब ट्राइपार्टी सम्झौताहरू, सहमतिहरू गर्न खोजिराखेका छौँ। यो ट्राइपार्टी मात्रै नभएर अब्रोड जति हुन्छ लगानीको कुशलमा भने हामी ओपन छौँ। त्यसो भएको हुनाले स्थिर सरकार बनिसकेको छ। विगतमा यो थिएन। केही हाम्रा नीतिगत संरचनाहरू, नीतिगत कुराहरू, एकद्वार प्रणालीहरू समस्या भएको कारणले विगतमा हामी अल्मलिएका छौँ। म के भन्न चाहन्छु, विदेशी साथीहरूलाई, लगानीकर्ता मित्रहरूलाई, स्वदेशी निजी क्षेत्रबाट लाग्नु भएको साथीहरूलाई हिजोको भन्दा अवस्था फरक छ है। कथाले मागिसक्यो। कथाले के माग्यो? नेपालका ठुल्ठुला जलविद्युतहरू के को तपाईँको 50 र 60 मेगावाटको कुरा गर्नुहुन्छ। अब 1000 मेगावाट, 1500 मेगावाट, त्यति मात्रै होइन 10,000 मेगावाट चिसापानी कर्णाली बनाउन कथाले मागिसक्यो। नेपाल सरकारले 2 वर्ष अगाडि सरकारको नीति र कार्यक्रममा भनेको छ। 2 वर्ष अगाडि नै हामी दुई ठुला छिमेकी मित्रहरूलाई साथमा लिएर अन्य मुलुकहरूसँग सहकार्य गरेर ठुल्ठुला हाइड्रो पावरहरू आवश्यकता पर्छ भने 10,000 का कर्णाली, चिसापानी कर्णाली पनि सहकार्य गरेर बनाएर यो मुलुकको समृद्धि गर्न आतुर छौँ भनेर नीति र कार्यक्रममा आइसकेको छ। मैले यति भने पुग्छ। त्यसो भइसके पछाडि यो अहिले जुन समिटले पावर समिट गर्नुभएको छ, राम्रो भएको छ। बाह्य साथीहरूलाई अब प्राइभेट सेक्टरबाट भए पनि सरकारी तवरहरू भए पनि ट्राई पार्टी एउटा योले निष्कर्ष निकालोस्। यत्रो समिट 2 दिनदेखि गरेका छौँ। पहिलो लगानी गर्न आतुर हुनुहुन्छ छिमेकी मुलुक भारत, चीनका लगानीकर्ताहरू, त्योदेखि बाहेक बङ्गलादेशका साथीहरूदेखि लिएर अलि परका युरोपदेखि लिएर विभिन्न मुलुकका लगानीकर्ताहरू इच्छुक हुनुहुन्छ। त्यसो भएको हुनाले पहिले यो ट्रान्समिसन लाइनको व्यवस्था, क्रस बोर्डर ट्रान्समिसन लाइनको व्यवस्थाहरूको छिटो द्रुत गतिमा अझै यकिन भए पछाडि यहाँ लगानी हुन्छ। नेपाली लगानीकर्ताहरू जो लाग्नु भएको छ उहाँहरू अझै उत्साहित हुनुहुन्छ। यसमा दुविधा छैन। त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो समिटले इन्डिङमा के दियोस् भन्दाखेरि एउटा निष्कर्ष र निचोड सरकारको तर्फबाट ऊर्जा मन्त्रीले बोलिसक्नु भएको छ। हामी प्राइभेट सेक्टरबाट भए पनि ट्रान्समिसन लाइनका, किन भन्दा अनबलनिङको कुराहरू गरिसक्नु भएको छ। त्यही अन्तर्गतको ट्रान्समिसन लाइनहरू निर्माण भएको छ। सरकारका संयुक्त लगानी कम्पनीहरू छन्, ट्रान्समिसन कम्पनीहरू छन्। योसँग मिलेर भारत, बङ्गलादेश लेखेर जुनसुकै देशहरूको लगानीकर्ता आएमा निजी क्षेत्रबाट पनि हामी ओपन छौँ भनेर यही फोरममा भन्नुभएको छ। मैले गलत बुझेन भने त्यसो भएको हुनाले सरकारी तवरबाट भए पनि निजी क्षेत्रबाट भए पनि यो ट्रान्समिसन लाइनको व्यवस्थापनको निम्ति, निर्माणको निम्ति नयाँ कुराहरू गर्नु जरुरी छ। त्यसलाई तीनटै देशको नियमन आयोगभित्र, नियमन कानुनभित्र छिराउनु जरुरी होला। लगानीको कुराहरू होला, ट्रान्समिसन लाइन कत्रो कसरी बनाउने भन्ने कुराहरू होला। यसलाई आफ्नो इन हाउसमा इन्कर्पोरेट गर्नु पर्यो। ठुलो कुरै देख्दिनँ। कोही पनि हामी बिचौलिया छैनौँ मलाई जस्तो लाग्छ। अझै कस्तो राम्रो नेपाल हाम्रो धरातल रहेको छ। उता दक्षिण सबै हामी क्रस बोर्डर ट्रान्समिसन लाइनको निर्माण क्रममा अगाडि बढेका छौँ। त्यसैले केही नीतिहरू हामीले स्पष्ट गर्यौँ भने यहाँ धेरै ठुल्ठुला हाइड्रो पावर आयोजना बन्छ। यही निष्कर्ष मलाई लाग्छ 2 दिनको तपाईँहरूको यो भेलाले दियो। यत्रो फोरमको आयोजना गर्न इपान तम्सियो, इपानले गर्यो। युरोपदेखि लिएर धेरै साथीहरू, यहाँ नेपालभित्रका साथीहरू लगानी स्पोन्सर गरेर यो कार्यक्रम गर्न तम्सिने हो। म बधाई दिन्छु जो साथीहरूले यो समिटको, पावर समिटको आयोजना गर्नुभयो। यसलाई घनीभूत ढङ्गले आर्थिक रूपले सहयोग गरेर यो ठुलो फोरमको कार्यक्रम सम्पन्न गराउन, किन यो अन्तिम सेसन होला अहिलेको, सम्पन्न भएको छ। म पुनः बधाई दिँदै सबैलाई ढुक्क भएर नेपालमा लगानी गर्न, हाइड्रो पावरमा लगानी गर्न यहाँहरू अगाडि बढ्नुहोस् भन्ने शुभकामना दिँदै मेरो भनाइलाई अन्त्य गर्छु। धन्यवाद।
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद यस पावर समिट 2019 का प्रमुख अतिथिज्यू, हाम्रा माननीय मन्त्रीज्यू। र यसै सन्दर्भमा हामी अगाडि बढ्न चाहन्छौँ। लगभग हामी अन्त्यतिर आइसकेका छौँ पावर समिट 2019 को। And now I'd like to request the President of IPAN to present mementos to our chief guest for the closing ceremony. Also to Simon Lucas, Resilience and Inclusion Team Leader DFID. And now to just sum it up and close this session, I would like to invite the Vice President of IPAN as well as the convener of our Summit Organizing Committee, Mr. Kumar Pandey.
Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, so this is what it has come to now. I am the one standing between you and your dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, we started this process about 8 months ago. Little did we know that this is what we would serve. And from what we have, the process tested us to our limits. It put us to work. We lost our temper, we lost our patience, but we kept on going. There were many issues we had to consider, and we did do that. So, I will leave it to you to judge how it went. The feedback I've gotten has been that we were able to satisfy most of your anticipations. So I think the summit will speak for itself and your experiences will speak for themselves. So I will leave you to make that final judgment. But when we talk about summits, I just want to take a minute to think back on what we have done previously and what we did this time and what we expect to do in the coming days. If any of you did participate in the previous summits, our concentration was focused on licenses, internal issues, local finance, peace and security at site, and safety of our power plants and our employees. And we concentrated on those and we deliberated on those for days and days. And we were hopeful that it would change. And this happened, throughout the insurgency, through the time the country was going through a transition period. And we thought, this needed to be talked about, and the only way it would be resolved if we kept on talking about it, if we kept on discussing it, and if we kept on highlighting the issues. If you notice the summit this year, none of us talked about DOED and licenses. There was very little talk, if any, at all, about political stability and peace and security at project sites. So things changed because, they really have changed and we just stopped talking about them. But things have changed and we've moved on. This summit, we stopped looking inwards and saying, what do we need to get things at our house in order? We started looking abroad. We started looking over the horizon and say, things are out there now. We need to go get them. The opportunities lie beyond us. And that is what we talked about. So, in that sense, it gives us a lot of satisfaction to know that the summits actually have proven, I don't know how much, I can't quantify it, but we've got the output from those summits to actually move forward. And we're really proud of that. So, now, I do not know what the next summit will bring to us. We'll have to wait 3 years. But I can assure you that the 2022 Power Summit will be grander and better than this one. And I also want to tell you all that you are all invited. So with that, and with that short note, I announce the Power Summit 2019 concluded, and I thank you all for coming. Good night.
Thank you everyone for coming to Power Summit 2019. It was definitely fruitful. Have a great evening, have a great night. We have dinner being served right outside at the usual place. We'll see you next year, everyone. Good night.